Hey guys, one of our objectives this week is to review and talk about how to compose a professional and effective email. And like I said earlier in the objective video, this is not something that is just for college. This is something that you will use from here, probably all the way until the time that you retire from whatever career you end up in. So, as far as emails and their use in college and in workplace, like I said in the objective video, in the digital world in which we live, there are many times, almost no matter what job you end up in, what career you end up pursuing, in which you will communicate with maybe coworkers, colleagues, your boss, associates who you want to do business with, and even customers through email rather than face-to-face and rather than on the phone. Business today has just gone in that direction. You can easily communicate with people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world for that matter, through email. And so we want to make sure that we can communicate effectively and that we can reflect our intelligence and the ideas that we want to convey through written communication, written correspondence. Okay, so number one, it's important that you know when to send an email rather than to just convey the message in person or over the phone. So, for example, you would not want to reveal very sensitive, maybe emotional information through an email. Let's say that you are a boss. You would never want to fire an employee or write up an employee through an email. That would be kind of like sending a breakup text. And I know none of us would ever do something like that, right? So there are times that you need to convey what you need to say in person rather than through email. Also, if you ever do become a boss and you have employees of whom you are in charge, you can overwhelm those employees with emails. You do not want to send out 2 or 3 emails a day to your employees. Sometimes that information could be better said in person or on the phone if you have that much to say. 1 email a day is probably okay. In college, and this is a little bit different if you're taking online classes, which I know you guys are taking at least one because I'm teaching it, but you want to limit how many emails you send each instructor. And I say that with caution because I do want you to feel free to always contact me if there's anything you're having trouble with. And I know all of our instructors at Northeast feel the same. But do make sure that you have tried to resolve the problem and you've tried to find the answer maybe in your syllabus or somewhere on Canvas before you ask the question. Don't send 4 or 5 emails or messages a day asking things that you could be resourceful and find out on your own. That being said, do remember that we welcome messages, we welcome emails. We never want you to be confused or frustrated at Northeast. But a lot of you will go on to a 4-year college after Northeast. Remember that there too, that you always want to be resourceful and try to find the answer before you overwhelm your instructors with emails. Okay, responding to emails. First of all, you need to, and this is actually last of all on the slide, but respond promptly. You can hurt your professional reputation if you don't respond promptly to emails that customers send or coworkers send to you. If you receive, and this will probably happen to you at some point, an angry, inappropriate email from a customer or maybe even from your boss, and you're going to want to fire back and respond the same way. Now, a big problem with that is we should always be careful what kinds of things we put in writing. Emails, particularly if you send out an email that is negative or angry in tone, and maybe you lose a little bit of control of your temper when you're firing off this email, the recipient of your email can easily share that with other coworkers, with customers, with anyone, and they can damage your reputation. Because see, when they share your email or share even a text message, they don't have to put it into context. They don't have to show the person they're showing what they said first. And I've seen this happen before. There was a restaurant several years ago in this area that the boss sent an ugly response to a customer's email. The customer, of course, sent a complaint, and the owner of the restaurant fired back and he was angry in his response. Well, that customer posted his response all over Facebook. So everyone who had been patronizing that restaurant saw how angry and how hateful that owner was toward the customer, and it hurt their business. So just be cautious what you put in writing. Most conversations that are tough conversations that might be emotional, might be angry, probably need to take place in person, or at least wait until you're more composed. Give yourself a day, give yourself 24 hours to reflect on the situation and calm down. And most of the time you'll realize that it is not worth damaging your reputation to fire back at this person. It's most likely someone with whom you don't have to work every day, and you can be polite in your response and be the bigger person. The third bullet here, and this one's kind of funny. It may not seem like it to you now, but one day I bet you'll think back to this and you'll laugh. Don't respond to a group email as a reply all. There's always one person in a company, in a school, in whatever institution you are in who will hit reply all to the boss. And their reply will go to every employee. And that person, without fail, always gets made fun of in the office. So please don't be the person who hits reply all. Okay, these are the specifics. When you do your email assignment this week, these are the things I want you to remember. You must have an efficient subject line, because if you don't have a subject line, the recipient of the email may not know for sure that they want to open your email. They may wonder if it's spam, even if it has your name there. Some hackers can use the email address of someone at the office or someone in the institution. And if you don't have a subject, they may believe that's what's happened, or they may just be in a hurry and not open your email if they don't know what it's regarding. So if you're sending, for example, your professor a question about your math grade, make sure you put that subject line as math grade. Or if you're asking about a construction quote in your business, make sure you put that subject line as construction quote. Second bullet point, addressing the recipient. You want to stay away from hey or even sometimes hi. Those are a little bit too casual for business emails, for workplace emails. You want to stick with something more like hello, or my favorite is good morning or good evening, and address them by name if possible. So like if you were sending an email to me, you might say good afternoon, comma, Miss Barnett, comma. Make sure your commas are in the right place. Dear is a little bit too formal if you're writing to your instructors or to a business associate whom you know. I would not use dear in my salutation unless I was writing like a recommendation letter for a student. That is the only circumstance I can think of that I regularly use dear. That is almost a throwback to the times when people hand wrote letters and mailed them. So good morning, good afternoon, hello, those are the most appropriate for business emails. Okay, paragraph spacing and conciseness. This means that you don't have a ton of text all in one paragraph that recipient of your email has to, drudge through. You need to have everything laid out, preferably in more than one paragraph. And remember, email paragraphs are not the same as essay paragraphs. They can be very short. You might have an email paragraph that's only one sentence long. We type emails in block style, meaning we don't indent. So skipping a line and going to a new paragraph is a good way to break up your text and to give the recipient of your email an opportunity to skim over it rather than read the whole thing. Now, do we want them to read our whole email? Absolutely. But in the real world, sometimes people are busy and in a hurry, and it helps them to get the entire content of your email if you divide it into paragraphs, even if they're short paragraphs. Do keep your most important information at the beginning of each paragraph, again, in case the recipient is just skimming over it for what's important. Okay, formal language matters. Stay away from slang and emojis. I love emojis. I think that they give tone to our text messages. For example, if we say something we feel is very serious and we add a smiley face to it at the end, it softens our tone. But when we're emailing, we do not use slang or emojis. We keep it on a formal, business-like tone. Remember not to use a rude tone. Always read back over your email and imagine how you would see that, how you would imagine the tone of the sender if you were the recipient. Make sure it conveys the tone that you wished to convey. Don't be afraid to display your personality, especially if you are in a job where you have to email a good bit. You can be funny in your emails. You can be charismatic. You don't have to be monotone and boring in every email. So don't be afraid to display your personality. Just keep it on a professional level. Number 4, really importantly, read over your email before you send it. Almost every time I send an email, when I do my final read over, I always find something that I need to change, whether it's just a typo or maybe there's a word that I want to change and do differently. It should not take you long to read over your email, but it may save you some embarrassment if you find something that needs to be changed. Close your email with something like thank you or best regards, and be sure to include your name and organization if you are not in the same organization as the recipient at the bottom. And this is important for you guys, especially those of you who will go on to a 4-year university after you leave Northeast. When you close out an email to a professor, or especially someone in the financial aid office, or someone, maybe an advisor, someone you don't see all the time at school who doesn't know your name by heart. And in some of your bigger classes at a 4-year university, that will be the case with all of your instructors. So when you type your name at the closing, also include your student number. Here at Northeast, that's an A number. We call it an A number under your name. That way, if they need to look up your information, they can easily do so. Okay, this example email, I want you to read over it and determine whether you think it's effective. Are there any problems with it? So I'll give you a moment to read that yourself. Pay attention to who it's from, who it's to. Okay, if you noticed, Jeff, the sender of this email, is sending this to everyone who works with him at Overlook Inn, and he's asking for someone to swap shifts with him. He does not explain why he needs someone to swap shifts, and that's okay. It's not necessarily his coworker's business why he's asking them to swap shifts. Now, if he gets desperate enough and he needs to send out individual emails, he might explain that I need someone to swap shifts because I have a sick child and I need to take him to the doctor, something like that, if it's true. Don't lie. Make sure that you're always honest and straightforward in your emails. He does have an effective subject line here, schedule change request for June 27th. His coworkers will know exactly what this email is about before they open it. It only has one paragraph. If there were anything that I would do differently on this email, well, one thing, I would put a comma between good afternoon and everyone because I'm directly addressing everyone. But my other thing is I would probably, after I put we'll work something out, I would hit enter twice. And I would do one more paragraph and basically say, thank you in advance for your consideration in this matter. If you are asking people to do you a favor, you typically want to thank them in the email before you close. Then, of course, he has thanks, Jeff, and it is completely appropriate that he has his phone number here so that they know another method of getting in touch with him in case they want to swap shifts. Okay, so for your assignment this week, and all of this is in writing on the assignment as well, you will type out an email, an actual email, not a Canvas message, to your advisor. Now, you can either actually send this message to your advisor and carbon copy me, Miss Leah Barnett, in the email. That means to send me a copy of your email, even though I'm not the intended recipient. Or you can send the email directly to me to get your grade. But all of these components we've talked about in this video need to be there. That's where your grade will come from. And you will not submit anything on Canvas. You will actually send an email through your Northeast email. If you cannot do this or have trouble doing this, please let me know and I'll try to walk you through it. I can even make you a video or Zoom with you to show you how to do this, or you can go see Miss Lee in the TLC lab. Remember, any technology needs you ever have, we have a great resource on campus called the TLC lab in the business building, and Miss Judith Lee can help you with anything technology related that you need. As always, email me if you have any questions. Thank you.